Good morning, this is Keloland on the Go, with all you need to know news and weather as you start your day.
58-year-old John Troy Lee of Rapid City is dead after an officer-involved shooting Sunday.
Lee initially shot maintenance manager Paul Niebel at the Central States Fairgrounds in Rapid City before he fled south of Pine Ridge, where the next shooting took place.
The event involved multiple agencies across city and county lines.
Yesterday's incident was very uncommon, but I can also tell you that it is not uncommon for our agency, or the Sheriff's Department for that matter, to reach out to those other outlying jurisdictions to help with whatever we need help with, whether it be something that's an active investigation or whether something that's a little more belated and we need that extra help with.
Niebel remains in the hospital and the Oglala Sioux tribal officer has been released. The FBI is currently handling the rest of this investigation.
A Minnehaha County jury has found Lamont Burks Jr. not guilty of first-degree murder and not guilty of attempted first-degree murder.
However, Burks was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated assault. The charges stemmed from a shooting at Dunham Park in western Sioux Falls that killed Joshua Allen Jr. and injured 3 others in August of 2024. During
closing arguments Monday morning, the state told jurors that testimony from witnesses matches the physical evidence found at the scene and accused Burks of standing over Allen and shooting him. However, the defense said witnesses were motivated to testify against Burks because of deals they had made with prosecutors.
They also argued that forensic evidence does not prove who was holding any of the at least 5 guns found at the scene.
Voters in Sioux Falls are just 2 weeks away from deciding who will become the city's next mayor.
After no candidate secured more than 50% of the vote in last week's municipal election, the race now heads to a runoff between the top 2 finishers, Christine Erickson and Jamie Smith.
Both Erickson and Smith discussed what qualities they believe are most important in leading South Dakota's largest city.
This is not my government, this is your government, and we have to be accountable to you, the taxpayer, opening in a transparent way. When things aren't transparent, that's when conspiracy theories start to happen. That's when people think you're up to no good.
We have to make sure that everybody has a shot at this great thing that we have here in Sioux Falls. And so those are the guiding principles for me, to make sure that I'm trustworthy, to make sure I do things out of kindness, to make sure that we are accessible to all people in our community.
The runoff election between Erickson and Smith will be held June 23rd. Absentee voting is expected to start soon, but there's not an exact date set yet.
Now let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Scott Munt. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Travis. Good morning, everybody. We are following strong to severe thunderstorms later today. In the meantime, it will be hot, it will be humid, and it will be windy as these numbers reach the 90s. There's a look at the enhanced risk for severe weather for today. Covers central and eastern South Dakota. We'll continue to follow thunderstorm development this afternoon in parts of central South Dakota as numbers reach the 90s today. Some areas may be pushing 100, and Brian will be back with details of the rest of your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. The city of Brookings is hosting a traveling Veterans Memorial this weekend.
A replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial will be in Brookings June 11th through the 14th. Brookings, one of 31 towns nationwide selected to host The Wall That Heals.
It's the exhibit's only stop in South Dakota. The Wall That Heals is a 3/4 scale replica of the memorial in D.C.
The Arts, Music, and Performance Theater has brought back its summer concert series to downtown Sioux Falls.
39 performances will run through August 29th with rotating venues. Thursday's concerts will be at the Sharapa Place, Fridays in the Steel District, and Saturdays at the Phillips Avenue Plaza. Concerts run from 11:30 to 1 p.m.
A full list of performers and their locations can be found on the Downtown Sioux Falls website.
June is National Dairy Month, which is inspiring a business to take action.
Prairie Farms donated over 4,000 half-gallons of milk to Feeding South Dakota. John Cooper, the general manager at Prairie Farms, says milk is one of the most economical ways to get 13 essential vitamins and nutrients.
3 servings of milk per day is about 60 cents a serving, so might seem a little high on shelf, but when you break it out, especially when you compare it to some other products that are high in nutrients, it's one of the most cost-effective ways.
Along with the milk, Prairie Farms is matching monetary donations made during the month of June.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get another Check Your Weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, recapping our weather picture. Obviously, we'll be keeping a close eye on the forecast here later this afternoon and tonight. Chance of severe weather. We have a broad area that's under an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorm development. That means that both the coverage and intensity of these storms is expected to be a little bit higher than it normally is. A lot of times we have a slight risk, but today is the enhanced category for some of us. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to get storms everywhere. That is not the case, but what it does mean that all modes of severe weather are possible. Large hail, initially some of these big supercells, especially on the western flank of the enhanced, could produce golf ball size hail or a little bigger than that. And then as we progress through the evening, we're a little bit more concerned about the potential here for some tornado development in northeast Nebraska and possibly parts of southeast South Dakota. We also expect in North Dakota there will be separate segments of more of a tornado risk that direction. So again, a lot of this is conditional on the cap and how things in the mid-levels of the atmosphere break loose here later today, because it's going to be a hot one out there. We've got highs in the 90s. We do have some cloud blow off coming out of some thunderstorms in Nebraska this morning, so we'll see if that restricts our warming a little bit initially there around winter, but I still think we're going to break loose into the 90s. And the humidity too is another player here. There could be a drop in the dew point for a little while in the southeast where we entrain a little drier air, but then eventually that humidity will circle back around. I feel pretty confident about that. And then, of course, storms. Now, the main action is along the main cold front, West River. That's what you're seeing there on Futurecast west of Pier at 6 o'clock. And then we'll assume kind of a broken line with some gaps in between in central South Dakota. Again, these would be storms that could produce any mode of severe weather at that point. Farther down the timeline, as we go down into southeast South Dakota, a lot of the action in Nebraska, that would be my highlight, is watching to see what actually starts forming in that area and then what starts taking place after sunset, because we do have some storms in the southeast that would be fueled by some other mechanisms in the atmosphere, and again, any of those could become strong to severe. Hopefully, a lot of this severe weather threat will diminish tomorrow morning. We still could be seeing some rain chances early in the day. I do want to highlight that, but ultimately a west wind, and eventually it'll cool down. But here's the catch. We get into our extended forecast, and we still have kind of a warm day on Friday. That's ahead of the main cold front that descends out of Canada. And so as it drags in drier air, we still could warm up on Friday, but then we'll fall this weekend. Look at that. The end of the forecast in the 70s. By Sunday and Monday. In Aberdeen, you'll get cooler a little faster. In fact, even Thursday, we're down to 76 for a high. Rain chances are not zero, but it's not the same configuration as what we have now with the higher humidity. I think the humidity values will be a lot lower on most of these days coming up. But it doesn't mean we can't get any rain. It just means it'll be a little bit more of a northwesterly flow in the jet stream. Pierre and Rapid City, you're in the same boat. It looks like it'll try to heat up a little bit on Friday in Pierre ahead of that cold front, and then for the weekend. Saturday, Rapid City, 74. Look at that. Sunday and Monday, struggling to get to 70. That'll be interesting to watch. More details online at KELOLAND.com.